We got Scott Rugels, if I'm saying that right, who says Hasbro is laying off 1,000. Stay strong, gamers. Yeah, Hasbro's been feeling the wrath of the fans recently, huh?
Yeah, and Google is laying off to 18,000, and Meta is laying off 10, and Microsoft is laying off 10. There's a lot of that going on.
Also here in Norway, like one of our electronics chains, the places where you buy TVs and stuff like that, they're laying off people. And all of these layoffs all across the board, that's a really bad sign for the economy going forward.
But we got jobs, Andre.
Yeah, I know. I saw those tweets too. And those tweets from like Brandon talking about how good everything is going. That to me, that seems to be deflection, trying to avoid panic because everything.
Well, no, the jobs that he's talking about is if you want to work part-time at McDonald's as a fucking janitor, maybe. Yeah, there's plenty of openings there.
Do you think these companies are trying to get ahead of the wave, or they're reacting to being in the middle of it?
I think that depends on the company. I think there's less money to go around. What we're seeing is like ripple effects in the economy from everything just basically being artificially shut down, and now things aren't properly starting up again. People don't have the kind of money to spend on luxuries that they had before. You don't buy that extra TV. You keep that car a little bit longer. All of these things, they just lead to less money going around in the economy. And then you've had like these policies for the last few years with primarily the Brandon administration, but also other places just pumping money into the economy, which creates inflation. And then you get the hopelessness, and with the unemployment numbers we're seeing now, we're going to have stagflation inside of the year. Like we're about to do a remake of the 1930s where economy is concerned here. That's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, so they're trying to get ahead of that.
I think they may be trying to get ahead of that because Hasbro laying off 1,000. I think they're doing that because their toys aren't selling.
Well, this is across, like you said, it's across the board. They've had all kinds of issues with getting things imported. That's another problem. So they haven't been able to,
shortage.
Well, not just chips, but just plastic in general. Like there's been tons of their figures that have been delayed endlessly because they can't get them. Some things that they can't get right now. Half of it's the pandemic. The other half's the way the world is right now, and it has little to do with the pandemic. But let's face it. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on here. You got to admit shit's getting pretty bad. Like Andre may be a bit hyperbolic at the moment, but it won't be hyperbolic for long.
No, I'm not saying how it is right. I'm saying this is to come. Stagflation is coming. I mean, there's no turning back from that right now. And also, just to correct you a little bit, the pandemic has nothing to do with this. It's all the lockdowns. I mean, if you what you could have done with the pandemic. You could do that with what you're doing with all the people who are right now, shall we say, who are falling and can't get up again, which is happening in pretty huge numbers. No one's talking about it. You could have done that during the pandemic too, and life would have gone on as normal. Just the same way as right now.
Yeah, we took a hit, but not nearly as hard of a hit. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the lockdowns. That's what screwed up the economy.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting at. It's all the other political bullshit surrounding it and where we're at now. It's redonkulous. It's redonkulous. And they also found out that kids don't buy toys no more. That's another problem as far as the toy factor goes.
I think a big part is that many adults may not have the money to buy the toys.
Well, there's that, but the other side of it is that the adult collector market is your newer, larger, growing base of consumers, and if you're not bringing out shit they want,
And even if you are, I don't know how many are buying in the same ways that they did
Oh, not
there either.
nearly as much.
I
Absolutely.
think even there they are starting to be like more restrictive. That's kind of like what I'm saying. I see
Yes.
people are like spending less money across the board on everything, even in niche things. Even with the niche toy collectors, even they are going to be like a little bit more restrictive. All of that has ripple effects, and that's going to lead to people being fired, which again is going to lead to less money in the economy. It's going to lead to more people being fired, which is going to lead to less
Yeah.
money in the economy. And then you're in the downward spiral, and that's where we are.
And the really bad news, which means there's going to be way more people coming onto this platform to be influencers and competing with us.
Well, that's what happened during the pandemic.
So that's that. I envision a story in the future where a shot from an office building window, 2-3 stories up, and every single person on the street are self-camming themselves as they're walking around.
I was just fired.
The only job in the future will be YouTube. YouTube. That's it. We'll be done.
It's very
It's the only job.
dystopian.
Well,
That's a dystopian world there. We've never seen anything on the streaming channels of dystopian worlds, have we, Script?
No, I don't think
New
so.
idea right here,
idea.
dystopian world.
And then JWT6577 says for $5, no one will watch the streams because civilization is going under. The dystopia is about to move into the non-fiction category. Yeah, wow. Mr. Chato, what say you? Are you looking forward to living in dystopia? I think everyone is.
I think he stepped away. I live in dystopia already. It's called Wisconsin.
I was speaking into my mic endlessly muted. No, I live in my fortress of solitude. I don't talk to anybody, so I don't worry about my nonfiction world is in my head.
I have to like you say that when the lockdowns and everything happened, I kind of like felt that this is dystopia and we are now living in the post-apocalypse. And I thought it was very disappointing because I was kind of like expecting everyone to dress like Wes in Mad Max and drive around roaming almost naked, looking for the gasoline or something like that. But then I remembered, hey, I live in a post-Arctic climate, so if civilization has to come to an end, I'd rather it be this way. Yeah, no, and especially for those of us that's been like reading Judge Dredd growing up, it's all coming true, isn't it? Like all the movies I'm not going to say they were warning us, but there definitely were like some trends that just continued into
I think
life.
the big difference is that we worked within several, let's say, circles of influence before we had our family, and then we would leave the family to go to work, let's say, and then we had our work family, which had its own dynamics, but you're still dealing with people on a human level, and then maybe you'd go out to the mall, and then that would be a little bit more disconnected. But now you've added a very dystopian social media component where people are not willing to meet halfway on any topic. And people seem to be enjoying this Roman Colosseum of bullshit online, and I can't see that being particularly good with their psyche. And now they're going to work, and a lot of places are being engineered with diversity, inclusivity, equity, leadership that completely puts aside equality of opportunity. So now you're going to be building a whole office full of resentful people. There's not a lot of good that's happening out there. Going to a movie is still a wonderful thing, and maybe that's going to be our savior.
Unless that movie decides to treat you like trash and talk down to you, say that you are evil.
But here I am. I'm hoping for more Top Gun Mavericks than the other.
Exactly. I will say that you raised some interesting points, but I think that you missed one really big one though, because you mentioned the social media, but all of that actually is means to interact with others. And I don't think that the streams are going anywhere. If anything, I think that more people will turn to the streams because civilization is going under or changing or being reset or what have you. And I think a big reason for that is that we can no longer trust the mainstream media. We can no longer trust the entertainment media complex. And I think more and more people are seeing that and becoming jaded because of it. When they see things around them, but the news, they turn and they watch their CNN, they watch their NBC or their BBC with your kid, whatever you have in Canada, whatever we have in Norway, Sweden, where have you. It's very uniform what is covered there, and it's very little of what people see actually happening around them. Like, for instance, there was a video that's gone viral about someone associated with a major pharma company that very much so admitted to this company associated with pharma doing research in which the products that they work with gained some level of function. And
I saw that.
You would think that this would be the main story on CNN, on NBC, across the board, worldwide. 10 years ago, it would have been.
And why isn't it now?
Scandal of Enron-like proportions, only 1,000,000 times worse. And it isn't anywhere.
That's a staggering video. If it's true.
Of course it's true.
It's unbelievable. I don't know why that isn't the #1 story right now.
That's exactly what I mean. And there's so many things like that. And I think that is a far, far bigger thing. Just that level of gaslighting, that level of don't trust your eyes, ain't nothing to see here. Move along. And that, I think, is far, far worse. But that's also why people are going to go to the streams, because that's where you have authenticity. Even if we, courtesy of the platform, can spell out straight what we're talking about. But I'm sure most people will catch on to it anyway.
My bigger concern is that people are eventually even going to avoid useful news online and just sit there and go through TikTok and shorts.
But
And
that's the whole point with demoralization. Once you no longer know what's true, you just tune out completely, because when you are presented with actual news, you can't separate that from all of the lies.
Because the interfaces to both those applications are completely addicting. Completely addicting. 15 seconds worth of doggies licking cows. And next. Jordan Peterson destroys leftist something. Next. It's unbelievably addicting. I think we're going to have everyone just doing TikTok and shorts. That's it. That's all they'll be watching.
Well, I think there's a difference in people. I don't think everyone is going to do that.
I have to say everyone. As a pundit,
yeah.
I have to say things that are that can't be proven. That's what pundits do.
But
I can only assert. My job is to assert and then run away.
So yeah, script. Any thoughts on that? So basically, Chato's job right now is to kick you in the balls and then run away. Is there anything you want to add to that script?
No, I think the ball successfully kicked. Currently clutching and recovering right now, and I think that's an appropriate result.